Women's experiences of outpatient hysteroscopy. Taken from careopinion.org.uk. 25% of women experience severe pain during outpatient hysteroscopy. Number 1. Heath Hospital, Cardiff. The letter I received in advance from the hospital explained that in the event of a biopsy needing to be performed, I would be offered gas and air, but this didn't happen. I didn't have much chance to process what was happening before I experienced excruciating pain as he conducted the biopsy. I could feel what I can only describe as sharp claws scraping my womb. I gasped and shouted with the pain, and on the third wave of agonizing pain, I screamed for them to stop. They stopped the procedure. I was shaking and gasping, and my arms and legs had gone completely numb. It took some time for the numbness to go, and the nurse seemed to be genuinely concerned for me. The consultant said I had caused the numbness through hyperventilating. That may have been true, but what was also true was that he was completely impervious to my pain. Once outside the hospital, I cried and cried. It was traumatic. Number 2. University Hospital, Hartlepool. Nothing I have encountered was as traumatizing as the hysteroscopy I had in March this year. I was not given informed consent. I was told it would be like a period pain. I was thinking it might be about the same as getting a Mirena coil fitted. Boy, was I wrong. It was indescribable pain. I was having to breathe out panicked intakes of breath like I was in labour. I was squeezing onto the nurse's hand for dear life. It was barbaric. That is the only way I can describe it. I went home, curled up on my bed, and sobbed myself to sleep. I am a 45-year-old woman with a very high pain tolerance. This made me unable to sleep for 2 nights because it was so traumatizing and so hard to get my head around why not one of the 5 people in that room stopped it when they saw my very obvious distress. I feel that it has a base in misogyny and not believing women when they say they are in pain. Number 3. University Hospital of Wales. The doctor and nurse were polite, but nothing prepared me for the pain I felt. At no time did anyone discuss whether this could be done under a general anaesthetic or offer a general anaesthetic following the scan I had. They started the procedure, and it was obvious to them that I was in pain, so the nurse handed me gas and air and explained how to use it. The pain was already quite bad with the scope inserted, and it felt as if there was air or water being pushed in. I didn't know which, but it became more and more painful. The doctor said they needed to take a biopsy. This was excruciatingly painful, and the gas and air did not really do anything to alleviate the pain other than make me feel very lightheaded. They wanted to take a bigger biopsy, as the doctor said they were not sure they had managed to get a big enough sample, but had to stop because of the pain. Number 4. Peterborough City Hospital. I was offered no pain relief sedation or anaesthetic. When I asked if this would hurt, the consultant told me it would just feel like period cramps. I was literally screaming and crying with the pain. It was nothing like period cramps. At no point was I asked if I wanted the procedure stopped, when I was obviously distressed and in unacceptable pain. It was horrific. If I'd known how much pain this would cause, there is no way I would have agreed to this. I was not asked if anyone had come with me until after the procedure was done, and I was alone at the hospital in tears and very shaken. I was told by a nurse to hang around the hospital for half an hour. I nearly passed out and was very nauseous after, and had to lie back down until I felt well enough to get dressed. I cried for days just reliving this in my mind and couldn't sleep with nightmares about it. I felt totally violated and have since put a complaint into the hospital. Number 5. St Mary's Hospital. The insertion and use of the camera was agony, and I was in floods of tears and hyperventilating. They then told me they would need to take a sample of the lining of my womb and warned that it would feel like a bit of a scratch. I can't understand how that word could be applied because what it felt like was searing pain. I thought I was going to pass out from the pain. When it was over, I was told that they would have to repeat the process because they didn't have enough of a sample. I was beside myself. I was told I could stop. But again, at that point, when they had nearly finished, why would I stop and wait another 3 months? I left that appointment in floods of tears, in so much pain, and feeling so distressed. More than anything, I was angry that anyone would be expected to endure that without pain relief, and even angrier that I was denied when I asked for it. Number 6. Kingston Hospital, London. I did hysteroscopy to remove polyps at Kingston Hospital, London. It was the most traumatic pain experience I've ever had in my life. I was crying until the end of the procedure. I was in so much pain. I don't believe that any woman should go through so much pain. That is wrong and inhuman. Every time I remember, I start to cry with this memory, mainly that I was there alone. If I imagined it would be so traumatic, I would have support with me. Number 7. Ipswich Hospital. The consultant and nurse involved in the hysteroscopy were lovely. However, the actual procedure was extremely uncomfortable. Having given birth twice using gas and air, may I suggest that gas and air is offered during the procedure? Being told to take painkillers an hour before makes absolutely no difference to the discomfort. St Michael's Hospital. I was very nervous about having this procedure, having had an excruciatingly painful hysteroscopy at a different hospital 3 years earlier. I wanted to discuss the possibility of pain relief, such as gas and air or an epidural. On 2 occasions, I was assured by a receptionist who said they had checked with a member of the medical staff that there was gas and air available in all the consulting rooms, which made me feel much more confident. I was very surprised to find that gas and air is not used for this procedure, but I forgot to ask why. I would be interested to know. It did hurt, I can't lie, but not nearly as much as before. I am an advocate for pain relief for this procedure. I do not understand why it isn't readily available and why I couldn't have had gas and air. I must admit, I am angry that I was misled. Birmingham Women's Hospital. I was well looked after. However, it wasn't made clear to me that this might be as disturbing an experience as I found it. 2 nurses were with me, talking away, to distract me, I suppose. One of them had to hold me down, though, as I tried to tell them through gritted teeth, I can't take this any more. I was in shock coming out of there. It was an extreme, pressured feeling, a traumatic and barbaric experience for me. I couldn't believe I hadn't been sedated. I don't remember being offered anything or warned about this before I went in. I took a couple of painkillers as advised, and that was it. I could see on the nurses' faces that they knew what I was in for. And another nurse did come out to see me in the waiting room and ask if I was okay. She looked concerned, and I burst into tears. I was shaking with shock. Kingston Hospital, London. The first step was to look around the uterus with the tubes and the camera, and as it entered my cervix, proved to be the most painful thing I have ever experienced. The consultant then removed the equipment and said she had found a polyp. She explained that I could have this removed under general anaesthetic, but that it did need to be removed. Then she explained that she still needed to take a biopsy from the endometrial lining. When she began the procedure again by inserting the tools through the cervix, I had to ask her to stop because I was in such severe pain. However, despite continually asking the consultant to stop, she carried on snipping away and then removed what she thought was the polyp. I would have liked to have been treated like a human being and not have been totally ignored during the procedure.